If you would, tell me about your first experience, first encounter, how all of this began, and how you got into all this.
Well, a buddy of mine, Ralph Thurman, he's gone now, he died, over on Little Indian Creek. Can you get all that now?
Mm-hmm.
We was over on Little Indian Creek. Don, did you hear this story about over in Indian Creek when that one chased us up down the lake?
Yeah, I heard, but I'm going to go over here.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell it.
We was going out there going frogging. This was back about 40 years ago maybe. And we'd never heard nothing hardly about Bigfoot. And we took our gauge and our light. I had a shotgun and a rifle in the truck with the window down. Hell, they never locked nothing up then. And we went up to the lake. It was filling up. They just built it. I can show you the dam. And we went up the right side of it, and it didn't have no grass in it. It was just built, you know. And I said, we may catch some frogs, I don't know. So we went up to, got a hat with a big, big dam. And we got up top of it and started up the south side of it. And something screamed on the other side of the lake. I mean, growl, scream. And he said, what? Ralph scared already. He said, what? I said, it sounded kind of like between a mountain lion and a bear. So we went on up a ways, and he ran ahead of us. And I said, Ralph, that thing's following us. So I said, let's go back towards the truck. Well, we turned around, went back towards the truck, and son of he went down towards the truck again. I said, let's go back up the lake. So we go back up the lake, and this son would run up there and head us off again. So I said, let's head back real slow. See, there wasn't no brush on the dam yet. It was just built. I said, let's get down and rush off that dam. I said, I got a rifle and a shotgun in the truck. And we got to the dam, and we run down that dam. We got to the truck and the road at the Little Indian Creek, and there's brush there. I can take you right down there right now and show you exactly where it was at. There's brush. It's so thick you can't go through it. And all of a sudden, this son of a went through that brush. We never heard him. I said, here, grab this shotgun. I grabbed the 30-30. And all of a sudden, he growled and threw roots at us. Brush. We got in the truck and left. Now, that was the first encounter. We didn't know what it was. Years later, I said, you know what? That was Bigfoot cutting us off. And it was, when I heard the growls. So then later, I moved up the creek, and my dog was raising Cain, and the dog run the house. It was a chow dog. He run the house scared to death. And now you hear him growling and talking out there, you know, mumbling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then that went on for over a year. I had a girlfriend. We went down to the river. We was over in Missouri on my big speedboat. We come back and she wanted to go down the creek and play. So we took a blanket, got in the water, cooled off, and I had her in the blanket playing with her. All of a sudden this screamed so loud between a grizzly and a elk call, real loud and roar up by the house. Bear, he jumped up, my dog jumped up, and he looked up there. She said, Dennis, I hope you ain't got your friend there trying to scare me to death. I said, shut up. So finally it quit growling. We heard him jump off in the creek, and it rained the day before about an inch. And you know that creek, how it gets a skim on the rocks, and you walk on it crushed. So the next day, I said, I know, she took a shower. I said, I know what I'll do. I'll go see where, I know I can track him across that creek. We can hear him walking in that gravel the night before. So this is my second encounter.
Okay.
And I went down, I put rubber boots on, and I stepped as far as I could reach without falling over sideways. And I still like 2 feet reaching his steps, toe to heel. And he went on over to the bank. I said, now I got you, bastard. I'll find out where you went out, and I'll get plaster Paris of you. And it's from here to the mailbox that wide, the creek. And I would, you know, stretch as far as I could stretch. So I get over, it just stopped. I backed up. He never went up the creek. He never went down the creek. And the brush was too thin for him to grab him for a big body like he would and pull himself up the bank, because it was muddy too from the rain. No tracks went up that bank. And no tracks went up the creek or down the creek. Now how he disappeared, I don't know to this day. I've thought of it 100 times. So that was one of them. Mm-hmm. God, I got some air. I'm trying to keep them in line.
No, you're fine. Take your time. You don't have to go completely non-stop. You can stop and think if you need to.
But so then,
was the water deep enough that he could have got in?
No. That was only about 2 inches deep. Mm-hmm. She said it had crust on it. No. How he disappeared from it, I don't know. I mean, I'm still wondering. He didn't go up the bank. He didn't go up the creek or down the creek. I walked backed up and backed up. I was out there for an hour trying to find out which way he went. Did
you see him?
No.
Okay. You could hear him.
I just heard him.
Yeah.
He, yelled real loud, and so anyway, that was one of them. And then we moved from there, and I built another place up on the creek farther. And I had 2 blue heeler dogs, one identical to Quigley. Smartest dog I ever had. I had him doing everything. And I was living with me. She says, he's out there reaching over my truck, eating dog food. So I rushed and grabbed the gun. I had a shotgun on one door and a deer rifle on another door. And he ran out of the shed. He ran up the log road in the woods. Couldn't see him again. So then about a week later, she said, Dennis, it's out here by the shed again. And I looked, and he was by the shed, just getting ready to go in the shed where I had my vehicles parked. and I grabbed a shotgun, but it was too far. I couldn't shoot. Well, Yosemite run back up in the woods. So a week later, she's left. She left to go to her daughter's up at Owensville, and I had a little pup barking, raising cane, blue-heeled pup, just raising cane. So I went to the kitchen door and looked out the back door, and it was squatted down behind a cedar. She took to trim the cedar tree limbs where you could walk under them, and he was squatted down and watched me at the house. So again, I grabbed a gun, but it was a shotgun. I said, nope. I run the door to get my, the same car. I run to the other door to get my 300 Magnum, and it ran up the log road. Couldn't get a shot. So then, deer season came several months later, and I cleaned a deer on the back of the bed of the truck for a friend of mine to mount deer for him. And Quigley took off, run up the hill. I said, Quigley, come back. Boy, he minded me, so he came back. And then a week later, I was in my taxidermy shop. No, I was in the house, that's what it was. Donna said, hey, she says, you're behind your shed. So I ran out the door with a shotgun, with buckshot, the wrong gun, and he had Quigley in a bear hug. You're going to take him, kill him, eat him. And like they all told me, Quigley was too smart for him. He was too good a watchdog, and he was telling on him. So he had Quigley in a bear hug. So I ran around the shed, and I had the shotgun, I had the safety off, but Quigley was fighting. I know in my mind would have hit him in the head too with a shotgun. So I hollered, Quigley, come. And he put his feet against his chest and got loose. He come running to me, and I kept looking at him, he was quivering. So then about 2 weeks later, Quigley went run up the hill in the woods. It's all woods. He's okay, he won't bite. And right now, and I can tell by his action. Come here. And so Quigley went up in the woods, and it was daylight, and never came back. Bigfoot done some kind of a whistling or something. I couldn't hear it. And Quigley went right up the hill, and that was it. Never came back. I'm trying to think of his name. Anyway, he called me 3 times, and then I said, Quigley, come back. I said, nope. I said, Bigfoot got him. He whistled him up there and killed him, ate him. And what's happened? So
he called your dog? The Sasquatch whistled?
He said done some kind of whistling where Quigley would not listen to me. That dog listened to me out of this world. He would not stop. He just went running up in the woods. Leaves were off. It was wintertime, but I couldn't see, way up in the woods.
What kind of whistle was it? Do you remember hearing it?
I just whistled real loud.
Okay.
And he always comes. Never came back. Rich called me 3 times, and I till midnight. I said, Quigley, come back. I said, I told you, Bigfoot ate him. So we moved from there, I moved to another place. I built a log house there, seeing people, they liked my buildings and stuff, and they'd buy them from me. Hell, they offered me so much money I had to sell them, but they cleaned me out. But anyway, trying to think where I moved to next. And so I moved to this other place, and like I've said, I've seen 16 of them, and it was on a creek, and you could hear him walking in the moving water. You hear him walking. I never did see him except his back. So then I moved here, and I was cutting my hair on the back porch. It was probably one of the many times she moved out again by myself. And one of my dogs started growling, and I'll take you dinner when we go down and look at the Bigfoot. On the left side of the house from here, there's the woods over there. And I didn't know it, but there was a dip in the woods. Anyway, I stopped, went in the house, got my spotlight. There's a Bigfoot standing there watching me, cutting my hair. I guess that buzzing on that brought him out. And so I said, "Hell, I'll kill." See, my lawyer friend told me if we ever kill one, I had a locker plant up at a friend of mine, 2 friends of mine in St. Clair, had built a big locker plant up there, and we was going to kill him, and they was going to haul him up there and put him there and get pictures of him and sell him to Bass Pro. Because the government's offering $1 million for him, for one. He said, "F the government." He said, "We're talking millions." He said, 20, 30 million. I said, "Okay." So anyway, I went and got my we went and got my rifle. I had the shotgun too far. I went back out and got my deer rifle. And I'm doing this. I'm holding on him. And I got the head on him, you know. I'm a good head shot. But I was doing this, you know. I could see his eyes. Hell, he was that far apart. And I was getting ready, and I said, "Damn, I'm gonna cripple him." So I took and said, "I better not do it." So I put the gun down, finished cutting my hair. Next morning I looked, and I said, "I had a handrail right there. Why didn't I lay the gun on the handrail?" And I got a good rest. Anyway, I didn't get him. So quickly, I was cutting the grass 3 or 4 weeks later. Right behind the house, I got a camera right down there. We'll get the film out of it. And I bent the blade on my mower, so I had to shut it off. I quickly was growling, and I turned around, and he was stalking the hill behind the house. See, this place they just built, they just took dozed it off, made it a level spot. It's just straight off all the way around. I started walking out. Quigley was off near them trees from the woods, and that thing growled again. I said, I've been in bear dens trying to kill a bear. They growled at me, mountain lions. Never have I ever heard a growl like this, ever. And I said, "Quigley, come." Quigley turned around and come running to me. He wasn't bristled up, he'd come running to me. And the next day I went down there. I went to the house, got a gun, but he was gone when I went down there. And we seen the bed he was laying in. He was hidden over that bank watching us. I guess a lawnmower was bugging him. Well, I had horses then. That was right now, but I had horses back then. And I had a shed over here where the trailer's at. And I had a pile of weeds back there. I don't know what they're called. They grow up down at the creek. They're about 6, 7 foot tall. Had a patch about 60 by 80. I didn't cut them yet. And Cheyenne was alive. Then I had to put her down. Then they blew a healer. And she was running back and forth on the fence line. And I could hear the thing's footprints, but I couldn't see him. Brush, real thick brush. Summertime. So I called her back. I was afraid he was going to call her and eat her. So went back up there and I looked at them weeds, and there was 2 big beds in there. I mean, 8, 9 foot tall. I said, okay, so I went and got the weed eater, and I weeded them down. Too close to the house.
What did the bed look like?
Just a real long, wide bed. About 4 foot wide and about 8, 9 feet long. 2 beds, side by side. Laying there waiting for them dogs to come out, say, at night.
Okay.
So then, it went on for a couple of years. And I'm trying to think of the next sighting.
So with your experience, they do eat dogs? They'll try to get them?
Oh, they love dogs. Yeah.
I had 2 of them go missing. One, well, they were both German Shepherds, but one of them was mixed with Pit Bull. And when they were around, I knew they were around because I'd seen them and I could hear them. And then the dogs just went missing. They'd always go down into the creek bottom just barking at 2 in the morning. And then just one day they were gone.
Yeah. Yeah, they just like Quigley I had out there in the creek. They got some kind of a whistle. He called him up there. Quigley wouldn't, he ignored me like I wasn't there. That dog, all I had to say is Quigley, and he stopped running and come right back to me. That day he didn't come back. Just kept going. He done some kind of a whistle to call him up there. So then here, well, not the dog was raising hell. and I looked over at the window. You can see the left side of the door there. You can see that militia blind.
Mm-hmm.
Left side of the door there at the house.
Okay.
Okay. I closed it last night.
Mm-hmm.
They're raising hell at the window, and I looked. There's a Bigfoot head about this big around looking in the window. So I got up real slow and got a gun, run the door, and he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 times that happened, 3 different times within a year. So I thought, well, I know what I'll do. I took some boards, maybe a 3x3 pad, and put it on a concrete slab and fill it up with clay and dirt. Never did come back to that clay dirt. I wanted to get a plaster patch there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I took and never did get a shot at him. I was going to shoot right through the window at him, see. Well, then they started knocking on the door, or outside the door, trailer. He'd run away. I mean, the 3rd time he knocked, I was just getting ready to open the door. I was going to let the dogs out. They was barking. I was going to let the dogs out, and he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I could just see a blur as it opened the door. Never got a picture of him in that camera.
Right.
And then they started bringing. And when I got evicted and I came back 3 months later, he brought rocks up here. I guess happy I was back, or I don't know, but real. You can get a picture of him down there. But the rocks were stacked up there on the porch. 3 different times they brought rocks, like a gift.
Then they stack them on the porch?
I can show you right there where they're at.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go down there after you
Yeah.
tell me your encounters.
Yeah.
Okay. And this was recent? More recent, or was that in
No,
the
it was
past?
probably within the last 3 months.
Okay. So the place is still active. They live around here.
Oh, they're here.
Yeah. Do you think they migrate, or do they stay?
Migrate?
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Now, do they migrate from one county to another? Or?
When the game's so scarce, they'd leave and go to another area.
Okay.
They moved out of here when it was super, super hot.
Mm-hmm.
Then they came back when it started cooling off. And then Don came up one time. We parked right there where the blue truck car is.
Mm-hmm.
And we were sitting where your red car's at. We had the chairs over there. And one night, well, there were cedar trees over there. I can't explain the noise. It sounded between like tin, beating on tin,
Mm-hmm.
or glass or something. I don't know. You can't explain it.
Like metallic sound, like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. And Don and I said, what the? And we looked and looked, and then we didn't go over there. We had pistols, we didn't go over there. And then to this day, he says, what the hell kind of noise was it? I said, I don't know. It's loud, though. He said it 3 times.
And no one lives across there?
Nobody lives there. It's all the way, woods all the way to the highway. So it's probably, you had to come around.
Mm-hmm.
Which way did you guys come in, this way?
Yeah, we came
Yeah.
from that way.
Yeah. It's nothing but woods and fields all the way to the highway, which is 5 or 6 miles.
Yeah.
See that?
On the way here, when I got to this road, I smelled something, and it stunk real bad. I don't know what it was. I've never smelled anything like it. It
Yeah.
smelled like I was in where they keep the calves and they urinate on the hay.
Right.
It smelled like that, but there was no farm around that I could see from the road.
Yeah, they got an odor. You can't explain it. I mean, it's so strong. I've smelt them a number of times.
Wow.
One morning, I had my traps out over. We're going to go over it on the mule. I'll show you. I had a tree over there. We can find tracks over, and I thought, I know. So I put a tree up, and I nailed a board across it, or tin. Made a shelf. It was about 8 foot off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I put jars of honey, peanut butter, so forth. And they'd eat that. They took, actually, I had a peanut butter jar in a bucket. They actually took that lid off that bucket, ate the peanut butter out of that jar and put it back in and put the lid back on.
Yeah.
And that's where the tin, I got ahead of my story. I've got so many in my head I can't think of all of them.
Oh, you're fine. Take your time, and I'm in no rush.
And then I had a camera, 2 cameras over there, one 5 foot high, which had a reddish brown young one come right past the camera. Well, beautiful picture. Couldn't see his head, but you could see his hand and his body.
Mm-hmm.
And she stole that. But anyway, he was headed towards the feed. Well, I wasn't getting good pictures of the body, so I thought, well, I took a step ladder over there, and I put it up 10 feet in the air, this camera.
Mm-hmm.
I had one over 5 feet across from it, flash cameras. And this big one come through, and that camera went off, and it was a white flash, back and forth. Mm-hmm. He's trying to get that camera. Every time he'd move, it'd go off. It was hilarious. I mean, I had 5 or 6 pictures of him going back and forth. You could see his ear, crown of his head, I mean, everything, part of his shoulder, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But he just back and forth, trying to get that camera. And she stole them pictures. But, and then, one night her son was working out there in a car at a building he stole, and a deer come up, and 2 Bigfoot were chasing them deer around trying to catch them. He come to the house scared as hell. He said, "Dennis, grab your gun." He said, "They're out there chasing this deer." He seen him in this opening right over here to the right. And he seen him chasing deer. But I never did see him. I went out there and waited a long time, never did get a shot at him. Oh, and let's see. I got so many stories. Try to think. How long Don been out here?
Yeah.
Ben brought him out probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, when I go and check my traps, I just got in the woods about 50 yards. And I thought, well, so I had a knocking stick. So I go to this hollow tree, just for practice. I knock on a tree, and there's one knocked right over here. It's down in the woods about 100 yards, because I'm in there about 50, 60. And it knocked. And then it wasn't, I knocked again, then it knocked again. All of a sudden, one to my right knocked over here. So there's 2 of them communicating back and forth. I had 30-30 checking my traps, and I had a pistol, 22 pistol on my hip. The 3rd time this one knocked, I never had that before. The 3rd time it knocked, it broke its stick. You could hear it splinter, you could hear it break.
Mm-hmm.
It was I laughed so hard. He knocked the 3rd time, it splintered his stick. It hit so hard, broke his knocking stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never heard that before. But he broke his stick, and I knocked again. And then, oh, let's see. The next encounter, my brain's, I'm trying to think all the other times.
Oh, you're fine.
3 times they came to the house, looked in the window. 3 different times.
They opened the window?
No, look, just look in there.
Oh, looked in the window, okay.
Same one. Big old head, that big around, and grayish in the face.
Uh-huh.
Black and grayish.
Can you describe him a little bit better? Like, are his eyes round?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And is his head round, or is it conical?
Yeah, it kind of had a crown to it.
Okay,
kind of,
so it's got a conical head.
A little bit of a crown. Not much. This one didn't.
Mm.
But you can see the gray real good. That head was that big around. I mean, the biggest thing you ever see. Dogs went nuts. And then another time,
What were you guys doing when it came up and looked through the window?
watching TV.
Just watching TV? Was it late?
Yeah, it was late. It's probably 11 or 12.
Okay. And that's the window on the other side?
No, it's right on this side right
Okay,
here.
this side right there. How tall, how high up do you think that is?
I measured the next morning. It was 8'4",
8'4".
top of his head.
Okay.
I looked at the window and kept on, Quigley.
What did you guys do when you saw him?
I
You
jumped
grabbed the
up and
gun?
grabbed the gun,
Mm-hmm.
run to the door, and he was gone. Dogs went out, they chased him towards the woods.
Is that what alerted you, was the dogs? Or you just saw them?
The dogs
Okay.
alerted me.
And you always know they're around when the dogs act a little
Oh.
different? They act strange?
Absolutely. You got 3 ears and eyes, and boy, that lets you know.
Mhm.
I had 4, I had to put her down, I had a 4th one. She was really super good dog. She got up into 17, 18 years old, I had to put her down. Cried like a baby.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Trying to think of some more I've seen.
Do you
Most
get
of 'em,
do you get a lot of activity or sightings when you would go out hunting for deer?
no, they need to stay away. You had that big gun, they could smell it, a gun oil or whatever.
Uh-huh.
They're so sensitive, it's unbelievable
Yeah.
how sensitive they are. But I got that one plaster a great big one. You got a log road up here by the church.
Mm-hmm.
And I go way back there to the lake, and that's where I found him. His track going across the clay opening where they clean the dirt for the dam.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I see them big tracks at.
And that's up the road?
Yeah, just a little ways.
And was it a pretty big pond or lake area?
Oh, that's pretty good size.
Yeah.
Probably 20, 30 acres.
And were they coming like out of the woods or going to the lake?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. All they just took and one track's all I've ever seen back there.
Okay.
He crossed this opening, and that's the last I've ever.
Now you still have the tracks though, or the casts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the last parachute down there, the big one.
Mm-hmm.
See anything?
You need makeup?
Huh?
You need more makeup?
No. Did you?
We want to make your lips pop.
Yeah. Did you hear anything? Did you hear or see anything?
No, but be aware walnuts are falling,
Mm-hmm.
or else something was causing something. I'm pretty sure it might be walnut. But I do think I have a big print. I'm gonna let you guys look at it whenever you're.
Back there by that
You
corn.
gonna drive down that way?
Well, yeah, we are.
I'll show you where it's at. I marked it.
Is it close to that corn feeder?
Nope, it's right on that road right there.
Huh.
I'm gonna let you guys look at it. Tell me what you think.
Well, the last one I seen over there, he was on the road, but he crossed the road, but I got a picture of his heel and part of his arch, or no arch, but just a part of his foot. I didn't get the toes done. He crossed the road.
Yeah.
I
Did you tell
marked
them
it.
about the dog food?
They like dog food,
Mm-hmm.
but they haven't had no dog food for quite a while. I mean, they haven't ate any for a long time.
What's the story behind that?
They just reach in and get a handful of dog food
Mm-hmm.
and eat it.
They were eating out of the back of your truck, remember?
Huh?
They were getting it out of the back of your truck.
Yeah.
Remember that story?
One time they was eating out of the back of the truck. I had 2 sacks,
Mm-hmm.
and they ripped in the sack and ate it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I've heard from a lot of people they like dog food.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They haven't been eating the dog food here lately. I've been having it in the house for them.
You told about you and your girlfriend and the scream.
Yeah.
Uh,
I told him about
Quigley. You
that.
talking about Quigley 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd
I
kill-
told him.
Mhm.
I told him about that knocking stick when it broke the knocking stick that time.
Yeah.
Oh, that was hilarious. I laughed my ass off. But then when that one broke, went on the right over and knocked her. I was going to check my traps. See, I trapped a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I built me a little log. We're going to go over there. I built a little old log structure, and I help these guys butcher every year. I dumped the guts and the head and the hide in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I put traps around it, catch coons and bobcat. Well, there was a mountain lion and a wolf hanging around over there. So I had 2 monstrous number 4 traps. It's about this long open, strong traps. I have to stand on them or put a log on them to set them.
Okay.
Strong. I took them so much as quickly quit. I took them over there, set them, I cut a tree down, a green one, about 9 to 10 foot long. It's about that big around. I never got on my shoulder, I carried it over. I was after the mountain lion and the wolf. I knew they couldn't drag it very far. So I set them and I put the traps about half a foot from me to you. And then they had to step over to get into the hog guts. Well, it rained for 5 days. Couldn't get over there. It was so rainy. You couldn't get over. You couldn't walk over. You couldn't ride the four-wheeler. So I get over there and guess what? The log's gone with the traps. The log was gone. There ain't no wolf, no mountain lion can carry that log or drag it. Quigley? No. Quigley, it's okay. It's okay.
Hey, I need to bring a treat next time.
It's okay. And they actually carried it off. What it was, Bigfoot got in them traps and didn't know how to get them off, and he carried it away. Took it to another Bigfoot where they helped get it off his foot. Guarantee it.
So the Sasquatch stepped into the trap and took off in the woods with it?
With the log. He had to carry it. He had to carry it. There wasn't no drag marks. It was 5 days before I get over it. It rained so much and muddy. But still there was enough dampness so I could see if he drug it, you know. He was carried off. So I got to thinking right then that Bigfoot got in them traps and carried that log off. Because a mountain lion or a wolf would have drug it 100 yards and I could have killed him. I'd been after the wolf for, I don't know, Quigley. I've been after the wolf for 2 years. Boy, he's a monster. Neighbors seen him down there the other day, down the road. But anyway, carried that log off, and both traps, boy, I hated losing them traps. They were so big and strong, there ain't nothing would have got out of them, you know.
How big around was it?
Oh, the jaw spread was about 11 inches, 10 inches.
Yeah.
Monstrous number 4s. One was a number 46, one was a number 4. But I hated losing them traps. Two of the best traps I ever had. Nothing ever got out of them. I got thinking, well, you know what? Bigfoot, I mean, the mountain lion or wolf's going to come over and eat these guts. I cut that tree. It's about 8 inches through and about 8 or 9, 10 feet long. Heavy, really heavy son of a. I carried it over and dropped it and tied my traps to it. I carried the log off.
Yeah. It's got to be pretty strong to do that.
Same place. A friend of mine uptown, he come out and he helps me out once in a while. And I said, let's go check the traps. See how my log building's doing to build for trapping this season. And we was in a four-wheeler, a mule, and we're standing there talking, and Don says, he said, what's that thing on the other hill? I said, what? I turned around, there was a Bigfoot walking, and he stopped, and it had to have been 10 foot. Because that yellow prairie grass is about 3.5, 4 foot high. And I said, look at his knuckles. And it was that much before his knuckles ever touched that grass, so he was tall. He was tall. He said, yeah, look at that. And he stood there for the longest I ever seen one stand there. He was probably 15, 20 seconds. Stared and looked at it, he just turned around and walked off the hill where he come from. You seen us parked up there, see? But he was a big bastard. God, he was big.
You got a good look at him?
Oh God, it was right in the open. Big son of a now. And it's right the next hill over where you found that twig up in the tree marked.
Yeah, the marker.
Don was over there, and I'll show you the tree. I went over yesterday when I had my four-wheeler, but it's rotted and fell down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But Don looked up there, he said, look at this. And it was, how high was that, you reckon?
It was 8 feet high.
8 foot high.
It was,
and he bent this hickory limb and pointed out towards the high line.
Yeah.
Directions, giving directions.
Yeah.
It was kind of It looked almost like a hanger.
Mm-hmm.
The limb had come over and they'd taken the other limb off of it and hooked it. And it was hanging about 8 feet high at the end of the close to the end of the trail, but then he has a deer stand on the other side of the clear cut. There's a highline clear cut that goes through here.
Yeah.
But it was about 8 foot high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some kind of a mark. I touched it like it's too much. I broke it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely.
Was that the same day?
Like that.
Was that the same day?
Was hooked and hooked.
Was that the same day you and Ben, we went back here with a 4-wheeler and found that big square?
Yeah.
Was that the same day?
Yeah, big square. Like every once in a while, if you look.
Mm-hmm.
I've run into these big, poles, 12 feet long, or trees, but they'll be laid in a square.
Okay.
Now,
Watch that whenever you're out.
I got pictures. I got pictures down there of it. You know where Dickie Bubs is?
Uh-huh.
You know that park in the back there where the kids play ball and soccer and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been taking I stop the dogs over there when I'm going to the bank or something or go shopping, and they play out there. Well, I got to looking, and you got pictures of it too, where Don, did you show you those pictures where they built that teepee?
I don't have any pictures of that. That's all you've been.
But you seen it?
Yeah.
Well, I just found a picture down here of it yesterday.
Yeah.
They took these dead sticks and leaned them up against this pine tree, halfway around the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took 2 great big pieces of bark about that wide. You'll see them in the picture. And they used them set in there to hide, to kill deer in the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, what the hell? And it's perfect pictures. It's colored and everything.
Yeah.
And some son of a tore it down and used it for bonfire for fishing.
Oh, man.
But after that, I got to thinking, over my years hunting, I found cedar limbs broke and then pushed back in the back and made a blind out of them on a road, off a road or a path, where I just figured it's snow load or something. It broke off when I went back and looked at them. They leaned in there like a blind, like this one over at Union.
Yeah. You think they're using the Meramec River to navigate, or one of the creeks?
Oh yeah, there's caves all up down that river.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the river, as you come in over on K Bridge.
Yeah, I did.
Bridge. You look up the river as far as you can see. It bends, going to the right, the river, and then Indian Creek comes into the left. Twice I've told Ben about it. Twice I've seen Bigfoot bend over catching fish in that stream about Indian Creek. He'd be in the creek about 4 or 5 feet from the bank. Mm-hmm. There was a tree washed in there, there's catching fish under there.
I don't know why it stopped recording there. Yeah, if you tell me about that incident, what you just told me, just tell it again.
I was going across the bridge to see Mom, and the water was up just a little bit, not much. And it's got a damn piers on the side like down here. And I was in a little smaller truck and I picked up the river. And that shoulder there was a Bigfoot catching fish underneath that little tree. It washed in there. Mm-hmm. And so I backed up and looked. I didn't have a damn camera. Now I got cameras and ain't getting one. But anyway, he was catching fish. Bigfoot was.
Yeah, and that's not too far from here. That's just right up the road, right?
Yeah, a little ways.
Yeah, a little ways. I was looking at the Powerline strip on the map, and I followed it, and it goes all the way to one of my other areas, right next to it.
Oh, really? It goes to one of your areas?
Uh-huh.
What, Cuba? Or that way?
Like pretty close to Leesburg.
Yeah, it
like
runs way up.
Bourbon, yeah.
It runs way up there.
Wow.
And in the High Line right here, when you said the High Line, just right down the road, got a gate on both sides where the state goes, another county. High Line people go through to clear the lines. Mm-hmm. And one Sunday morning, I had a different four-wheeler, and I thought I'll go for a drive. And I pulled in there where they got the gate locked, and I looked down it, and there's a Bigfoot down there. the holler. And he was younger when he was brownish. But I couldn't tell how tall he was because he was in that holler and the weeds were so high, grass. And I thought, what? And he backed out. He was hitting, he was going down Don's Lake. I mean, what's his name? Lake. And he backed up. He heard something way up the next hill.
Mm.
I watched him for. I had 30-30. It was too far to shoot, and I watched him for close to 10 minutes. And he backed out. And he cocked that head a little bit, and he'd listen and cocked it the other way. Then he'd come back and started to go back down to the lake. And I guess he heard him again. It was way too far for me to hear him. And he walked back out and stood there and listened up the hill again. And then, second time he come back out, and then he went back down the lake, and I'll come back home. But he was brownish. I've seen 3 brownish ones. The rest of them all been black. I've seen one that was almost gray.
What's that banging noise? Distance?
That's always out there in the distance.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that is.
Yeah.
It might be a shooting range.
Could be.
Yeah.
And once in a while you can hear a shooting range over here on the creek.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing.
Okay.
It's way over there.
Yeah, that's what that is. So you guys have found tracks, you said, at that lake. Have you found any other tracks around here? Like in the yard or
On this
property?
log road up back here.
Mm-hmm.
Gets across that log road or walking up it.
Okay.
Not that many openings here. You gotta know where they're at. The damn trees. There's so damn many trees.
Mm.
I guess it's the reason they're here. They're because they can hide so easy.
So you think they're here during the winter and they leave at a certain time of year?
Yeah, I've noticed more in the winter, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you going across the road here after a while. There's a log over there. Did I ever show you that log when we stepped across it when I got?
Yeah, you have to show him.
I was going to check my traps. I just looking around like I do, and there's a Bigfoot. And he just come out of that real deep hollow, that deep son of a.
Mm-hmm.
He just come out of the hollow and he stepped across the log. And we did. I seen the movement of my peripheral vision, and I stopped, and I reached up real slow for my rifle at 30-30, and he froze and looked at me for I don't know how many seconds. He just turned and walked back and went back down the hollow. He didn't run or nothing, just turned and stepped back. But he stepped over that log as I come I seen him. Mm-hmm. And he was probably 7.5, maybe 8 foot. He was not a mature one yet. You could tell he was almost there. He had a real broad chest. His arms on plumb past his knees. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't mature yet. You could tell he's kind of younger. Yeah. But he stepped across that log. That's when I seen him.
How far away was he from you?
Say about 30 yards, maybe.
Yeah, about here, that stump over there, about like that, about 30 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little closer.
And he didn't have any idea you were there until he was getting ready to step over the log?
No. Yeah, when he stepped over the log, I stopped. That's when he...
Oh, okay.
That's when he seen me.
Yeah. And did he just take off running, or did he just step back?
No, he just turned around, stepped over the log, and went back down a deep hollow. Mm-hmm. 2 steps, he's gone. Couldn't see him.
Can you describe the facial features, how it looked like?
It just looks like not a bear, because a bear has long nose. Mm-hmm. Just more pie-faced that I've seen. And that could be on account of the hair, too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another one looked in the window 3 times. His head was that big around, and he was grayish. And he was just almost perfectly round.
Is their hair typically shorter or pretty long?
Pretty long.
Pretty long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty long. I'll think of some more here in a minute.
Yeah, you're fine. Take your time. I don't know if maybe doing a tour around would help him remember more things.
Oh yeah, no, he'll be able to point out to you different areas where he saw stuff. You might be able to get a little video.
Yeah, you don't have to remember everything right now. We can be out there, and something will hit you, and just let me know.
Oh yeah.
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 Pretty long.
Yeah.
Pretty long. I'll think of some more here in a minute. Yeah, you're fine.
Oh yeah, no, he'll be able to point out to you different areas where he saw stuff. You might be able to get a little video. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Had a lot of activity over across the road where that feeder, that corn feeder's at.
Oh, across here?
Had a lot of activity when I had a tree up and I had pictures, cameras there. Had a lot of activity there, and then all of a sudden I guess some cameras scared them away because they didn't come back.
We were doing a lot of stuff. He was doing there was a lot of activity going.
Oh, a lot.
We were hanging cameras. He was hanging apples. It was a mess back there.
I didn't have enough cameras. I go buy more cameras.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough cameras to cover it all.
I
So
think
I
it kind of just, they were like, we're done with this. Pull it down. Pull it down.
Quickly.
Moved to a different side of the property, or just went somewhere else for a while?
There was a lot of stuff. We were cutting trees down, limbs. He was wrapping metal around trees to keep squirrels off stuff. Yeah, it was a lot going on. And then I think they just got fed up with it.
Yeah.
It's so warm now, I think they hide during the day, but when these leaves get off, I'll see more of them or more sign. But right now, they're kind of cool.
But this place here, to describe this area right here, around his house, is a gully. So anything can walk across this road and down in there and go all the way around here. There's a deep gully that comes all the way up and comes up over the road. So anything can come around and watch him. Can come up the hill and just stand there, but still be where he can't see him. He might be see the top of their head or something.
Yeah, when I was cutting my hair that night, I could see him from his knees up. And I thought he's pretty tall.
Yeah.
But then when I went over the next day, I said he was standing 3 feet down that bank.
Yeah.
So he was really tall.
They take that gully. There's a, right down at the bottom here, about 50 yards or 40 yards, is, what is that?
Them rocks where they blew them up.
No, the water. The
spring.
The spring water.
Okay, so there's a spring down there.
Right down here, right at the bottom of this hill.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask, is there something special on the property, like a spring?
Yeah,
or?
A spring.
But that's also where all the deer get funnel, and they're going there for that same reason.
Too.
Yeah.
He has deer. We have trail cams of the deer, a couple deer in his backyard. But that spring goes all the way down to a lake that they've plugged off to make a lake, and there's another spring on about a couple hundred yards that way that comes down and meets that spring on the other side of the lake house, and it fills up the lake.
Oh wow.
And then those two combined out the back of the lake, it goes down a creek, and the water's probably coming off the rock about that wide, continually.
Yeah.
Like gallons and gallons of water coming out of these two into that guy's. The guy he takes care of the land for has a lake house, and he plugged off the lake, the creek, to make a lake years and years ago.
Yeah.
So these fill it up, the lake overflows, and it goes out the back, and there's gallons and gallons of water. So there's probably caverns somewhere, you know what I mean?
Right.
The water's coming from somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's coming from uphill too, because right down below him, even though that's a hill, it still drops in level to go to that guy's house.
Oh, it's steep.
So somewhere under here, there's water coming from somewhere.
See, as you go down to Larry's, you get down to the bottom of that hill, there's a spring up the hill coming towards the house.
Yeah.
Ben and I have always talked about going up there and trying to find out where it's at, because there's getting water there somewhere.
Well, we have never found the spring over there yet, but we found this one. And they both go like that on each side of the house. Well, no, they actually meet together, and then they go down his driveway. But there's also another spring, probably way further that way. Maybe a third one. So there's definitely
water everywhere.
There could be a cave around here somewhere, cavern or something maybe. You know, this is Cavern City.
Yeah.
Jesse James hideout.
But it's such a jungle around here. They just ambush the deer so easy, or any kind of game, coons, anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys want to check out the tracks or look around the property?
Yeah. Did you want to take him for a ride? All right, we'll take him for a ride.
Yeah, take a short break from the cameras.
You don't want to ride?
Stretch our legs.
you evaluate and see what you think. This one first, right here. Maybe.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. Good eye.
Yeah, I'm a pretty good tracker and stuff.
Look at that.
What do you think?
Definitely see a foot. Looks like a left foot.
Yeah, toe.
Yeah.
Coming down maybe here or something.
I can definitely say that when I try to film it, it's hard to see it. But with this track, it shows up.
And then
You can definitely see the outline.
There might be something here, and I'm not really sure.
1, 2, 3.5 feet, or 4 feet.
Maybe here. This right here. I'm not really sure. What do you think? I mean, it would be.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about that.
I don't know. It kind of looks like something.
There have been pigs through here. But I took some of the leaves out of this. But you can definitely. That is interesting. And this is interesting too, Dennis. I'm going to show you this.
What you got?
This right here looks like a glyph. But what it looked like to me is.
That don't fall out of a tree like that.
Yeah, this one wouldn't tell you. But this looks like the trails. So right here, this is a trail this way. That's a trail this way.
Oh wow.
This here, when you go to the end of this trail down here, it splits off like this.
Yeah.
It splits up like that a little bit down at the end down here.
Okay.
I don't know if this might have been like, that might have been right here or something, you know what I mean? To do something like that. But when you get down to the end of the trail down here, it goes down that way. And this splits up to and it meets, that's where the deer feeder is right here.
So do you think they kind of like laid out a little plan for their family group? Like when one comes down the trail, it's like, okay.
That looks like some type of marker glyph to me.
I mean, they're intelligent. They definitely have some type of language. So the fact that they communicate in some type of...
It doesn't fall like that, I don't think.
Yeah. It's more random when things fall. But
and plus, especially since this is a trail and then that's a trail.
Especially since that's right there. That's pretty good.
I didn't see it coming in.
Yeah.
But I saw it going out. So it must have been the shadow. What I saw was this.
Yeah, that big toe.
Which looked like a big toe. When you see the prints that he has,
There's something there.
And maybe some too. It's
yeah.
Jumping on rocks like we done, you know.
Mm.
I had him, I had to cut him off.
Okay.
6 inches.
So this would be a family group, correct? Like they're probably running together. Were all these found around the same area for the most part?
I'm not really sure. He got them all, so I don't know.
Different spots here and there.
Did you get all these around the same area, Dennis? Or are they?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so it's probably.
Hard to say.
It's probably juvenile or female.
Now, any of these tracks?
Definitely male.
Yeah, that one's you think that one's juvenile or female?
I think so. I would have to say it's.
Jumping up rock blocks and stuff.
Yeah.
On there.
Yeah. What do you think that is? Maybe you should land on like.
He thinks it's a bunion.
Cracked his leg.
What is this here? What is it, Dennis?
They call them bunions.
The bunions, you think?
Yeah.
And that's bunions from just walking around on rocks.
Yeah. And not walking on it, he jumped off a rock block and standing on a rock and that's cracked his foot and it drove out.
Like a knot or a broken bone going through there?
Could be.
Yeah.
That's what happened to my foot.
You got one, yeah, you had one of these on the bottom of your foot? Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe like if they get their foot caught in a trap, you know, you get like missing toes and side toes. I don't know, broken. But yeah, those are good tracks and excellent casting jobs. Or casting work there.
He did pretty good for not knowing, for doing it for himself.
Yeah.
You definitely see some kind of toe structure because he didn't. I mean, he scraped some of this off, but he didn't go in here.
Like
you
with
can
a
see
file
that
or something. Or
well, metal brush.
Yeah.
But you can tell this hasn't been. He wasn't in here. You can see the netting right here, where the netting he's put in there was. The wire mesh.
Yeah.
Is there, so it's definitely indentations of toes. Huh? Yeah, Ben's got all the other ones at his house. I don't know.
Yeah, they break pretty easy.
You want a little picture of Dennis holding his?
Yeah.
Here, hold this one too. Can you hold two of them for him? Get a picture of you?
Yeah, there we go.
He said he was sitting, he looked out and he was kneeling up here, squatting.
Yeah.
Watching him through the window in the door.
Yeah, so he was like in there watching TV.
And the thing was sitting right here.
And it went in through that furthest window right there, or looked through it.
Right there by the door.
Oh, by the door.
Yeah, that's where the TV is. And he had the door open too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just sitting there. We looked out and it was just sitting squatting.
How ballsy is that to just come and look through somebody's
Here's the
window?
rocks too.
Oh, is this where they've placed the rocks?
This is where he said they put the rocks right there.
Okay, so those are the stones. And those are like gifts, or do you think they're like letting them know, hey, we're watching you?
He thinks that they're gifts to say they're back and around the area. You know, so.
It's kind of scary knowing they're picking up dogs, though.
Yeah. Although I do have to say, this one rock actually looks thin.
That's a smooth stone there.
He said they come down from the creek down the road.
Yeah.
I was almost going to say, I thought that was some kind of a...
That's kind of a clue.
Them, it was an axe head or something.
Not only are they telling them, hey, we're watching you, but like the clue is where that rock came from. If you can figure out where it came from, that's where they're coming from possibly, or where they're hanging out at.
I don't think they're getting it from this driveway, because look at the stone in this driveway compared to that.
Yeah.
You gonna tell them about them rocks there? He's taking video of it.
Had to come all the way from Indian Creek, smooth as they are. There's a couple of them behind there. There should be.
Yeah, I showed him.
See, here's what he was standing here this winter. I had that frame that was full of clay mud. We had to build a frame here, but top of his head was up with the metal frame.
So how tall do you think that is?
How high was his head here, Dennis? Was it up here?
Right there? Okay.
3 times.
The top of the head?
Yeah.
That's probably 8 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, this is 8 feet.
Yeah.
I'm 5'9".
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I measured it was 8'4".
Yeah, that's pretty.
8'4"?
Actually, caught
I mean, that's pretty high up. Here's where my head comes up to. Basically, right at the front.
Right?
Yeah, like 5'10".
5'10".
Maybe I'm shrinking, 5'9".
Yeah, I figured out that anything about fingered length, a little bit above it is.
I'll show you some of the pictures I got.
Oh, he's gonna take you inside.
Okay.
They go in. Come on.
Come on, guys.
Come on, dogs.
Real heavy.
The
rock.
Even the big one came from
Yeah,
there?
he carried that all the way up here.
Okay.
Look how heavy it is, man. It's heavy. That ore in it. Let's see. Look, one of the rocks is missing. There's 6 of them.
There were 6 of them?
Laying down
Oh,
there. Laying down there.
yeah.
I carried this one too. that oil. Feel how heavy that could.
Oh yeah, that's heavy. Wow.
Carry it a long
They've
way.
given me some heavy ones.
You carry it a long way.
Do you think that has iron in it?
It's got
Something?
quartz in it and stuff.
Yeah, it's heavy. That smooth rock though, that one they gave to you, the one closer to you, right? Let me see.
What about it?
Yeah, that right there.
They come out of the creek to be washed that smooth.
Yeah, this one's interesting.
It's almost a tomahawk almost.
Yeah, that's like. Yeah,
See?
that's unusual. Okay. And then there's that one.
You brought them in and stacked around just like that.
Yeah. This one's almost the same as that one. So, yeah, that's unusual.
Go back in the house.
Hmm.
Make that noise we made when we knocked 3 times going in there.
What is
Back in the house.
Okay. That'll freak you out.
Yeah, especially if you're sitting here.
3 times. When you done it 3 times, like loud, oh my God, you jump off that couch when you heard that noise.
Yeah. And then you found the rocks when you went out there and looked, or?
Well, that was before that.
That was before that,
We
okay.
knocked 3 different times, 3 times.
Yeah.
Loud as you could. The third time, I just opened the door. I was letting the dogs out. They were barking. And I heard a knocking 3 times. I mean, it scared the family.
Well, you know, all they got to do is the edge of the trailer's right there.
Oh, I know.
All you got to do is reach your arm around there. In between the shed and the trailer, there's a space to walk
He
through.
just shut it,
Yeah.
just shoots away. He's gone.
Yeah.
Hey, Dennis, do you want to trade these, you want to give me 3 for these 3, or what? So I can look at them at home?
He's behind us. They had a Bigfoot here at the door. We might do him with these.
Yeah. We're gonna have to set you up with some cameras.
The Dom was supposed to buy me a couple of them. Let's take them in to have them checked.
Well, they got new ones now that they don't use infrared. They got some other ones that are thermal trail cameras. So, like the infrared, they say that's what they see is that invisible light that we can't
These
see.
don't flash.
Oh, they don't?
No, there's 3 of them I bought now.
Okay.
The other one.
But yeah, if you're living out here and you see something like that track that you showed me up the road, that possible track, if you had no idea about Bigfoot, you would never look at that. You never think, oh, that's
No, you
Sasquatch,
walk
unless it was
right
like
by it.
perfect, you know, and
I
deep.
think you just walk right by it.
Yeah, yeah.
There
There it is, straight back on that white oak at the edge of the woods. See, if I was a Squatch, I'd be a good one. I saw the rope. That's what always gives it away, is that little rope. Mm. It's one of those scout cameras, or
Big black oak over here behind you, the white oak, water oak.
yeah.
That's where Bigfoot was hid down that bank right there. That now you're right there growling.
He was hiding back there.
He's heading right over the bank. See, it just drops straight off. See how fast?
Okay.
And that's when I put this camera here for him. I get a picture of him when I try to catch a deer.
Yeah.
Deer really come out here.
Yeah,
Every
yeah,
night.
he's got a lot. He's got a few deer.
We found the 2 deer sheds right here in the field.
Hmm. It seems like every property that I go out to investigate has woods all the way around it.
Yeah.
And is the last house on the driveway. Like a dead end road. That's typically the people that are getting the activity.
Are you serious?
Uh-huh. Like at the current river, he's all the way at the end of his driveway. And then it's surrounded by property. Where I live, it's a dead end road. Last house on the gravel road, and it's 360 woods all the way around.
Who the hell tied this?
Hold it, let me fix it for
Mm-hmm. Oh god, I don't want to drop this.
No, I can do it.
It's a very cool track right here. You can definitely see digits, and it definitely looks like a foot. But yeah, he said it was growling back here. And there's like a ravine, or like a holler that goes down in there. It's a pretty big tree too. Typically they like to hide behind the bigger oaks. So pay attention to the big trees, opposed to the skinnier ones. All right, good deal.
Yeah, you can see how it just funnels around here.
Yeah, this is a good area.
Yeah, literally, they can just walk up, and all they gotta do is have their head high enough. They can see.
Oh, that was the meanest, scariest growl I ever heard in my life. He hid right there.
You said it sounded like a grizzly bear or like some type of bear?
Sounded like a grizzly bear or something. I mean, he was worse than a grizzly bear. I mean, it was
Evil.
I mean, I've never heard a growl that vicious. I've heard grizzly bears. I've been in dens after them. Mountain lions out west.
Yeah.
The rifle put shit paper in my ears and went in there after them. Other guys would go with me. They said, "I got a dentist going. I'll go." And then they went there. He got there about 5 feet. His toes was digging in the sand. He boogied out. He said, "That's in there. You're growling at me." I said, "I told you he was in there."
Yeah. Have you ever noticed that they work with the coyotes or foxes or owls or anything like that? They mimic them or anything strange like that?
Do they work with him, you mean?
Yeah.
No,
Or the turkeys?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. But it was kind of like that one that he stepped in? Was it like one of these? The one that the Sasquatch stepped in?
No, the one.
Oh, Bigfoot took off?
No, it was
The
bigger.
bigger one's in front of you right there on the left. They were bigger than them.
Yeah.
Bigger than that.
Poor Blake and Lane.
And you had a log tied to it? It was tied to a log? Or?
Oh yeah, big log.
Oh, wow.
Give me your hand. I can't.
Yeah. Let me put this foot down. Let's make sure not to.
I'm hitting that bank.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, these way bigger than those traps.
Okay.
He took over half of them. These are killer traps here, cutting bear.
I'll take that.
They go in and out.
Carry it over.
I'm no longer responsible.
The big square ones. Them's cutting bear. Them's killer traps. They go on either side. It breaks your neck, kills them.
Oh, okay. That's that one right there, huh?
Yeah. The cable ones are snares.
You've done a lot of work out here.
Hanging. It was called jump traps. They'll jump in the air and get a higher grip on them.
Or.
Yeah, I didn't even see that.
And just shoot that alley and he's gone.
Yeah.
Knocked 3 different times.
No hearing.
Knocked so hard one time he knocked the picture
I didn't
off
see
the
no
wall.
hair or anything.
It knocked the picture off the wall?
Knocked the picture off his one dog just
Yeah. Normally what I hear is that single pow. You know, I had that happen 2 or 3 times at my place.
Yeah. Oh really? Getting hit.
Yeah,
Wanting you
well,
to come out.
they'd slap the side though, like here, boom.
Yeah,
But it would be up pretty high, you know.
They want you to come out so they can look at you.
Yeah.
If they want.
Well, when I go out there and look, there's nothing there.
They're watching. They just want to see you.
Like, he's coming. Get ready.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I think they really do that. They just want you to come out.
I didn't have a camera at the time. I was looking in the window. If I went that way, you know, instead of this way in front of the door, if I went that way, I would have had a picture of him that I have on the tree. I would have one in there. So the squirrels couldn't reach it. Okay, so it broke off. And over here is where I had the camera. I got a picture of them. See?
So that tree broke off about 9, 10.
A pipe on there. The squirrels climbing up to get the feed. So I put pipe on there saying they couldn't climb up there. And Bigfoot was reaching up in there. Even had a peanut butter jar. He reached in and took the lid off, ate the peanut butter, and put the lid back on.
Really?
Yes. That's why I put the camera up on his feet about 10 feet. That's why I got a picture of him shooting back and forth, and the camera looked like a ghost. Turkeys better rubbing over in the dirt, see where it's dry.
Yeah.
Turkeys better getting rid of the bugs.
There's a lot of wildlife in here.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, that's turkey tracks. See this?
Yeah. Dust in their
There's
feathers.
a track here and here. And
Oh, yeah.
turkey going that way.
Good find.
Okay, look, they gotta have their salt. See where squirrels is dug and
Yeah. Have you ever found any Sasquatch tracks in here?
no, I haven't. Up a widow or something pissed there or something. Fox track. Yeah, something's pissed here and made it wet.
Yeah, you can smell.
What's going on there? Scratched around, didn't they?
Yeah.
A lot of deer tracks.
Yeah, there's a lot of deer tracks. So what side of the property have you had the most activity on? Just around the house, in the yard, basically?
Over in here more so than around the house and then this way.
Yeah.
I've had some behind the house, but most of it here.
Yeah. How far out there do you think he was?
You see that, not the first hill, the second hill.
Uh-huh.
He was up the side of it, you can see there.
Okay. So you've seen several from power lines. Okay. But this is like the most vacant highway I've ever seen. Is it more like a street, like a back road? It's a highway though. I mean, they got it.
When you leave here, drive down through here. There's one of those bridges that the water goes over.
Okay.
Concrete.
Yeah.
Where you can drive through it to get to the other side, and the other side's gravel road.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be out there. Not right now.
Yeah, so that's about it.
Isn't that where he said he saw one?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
He saw one over there and over there, over that hill.
Yeah. And over
On
there.
on the next hill. You said that goes straight to your area?
What the hell it was? It sounded like 10 and it didn't sound like 10. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
What was it though?
We don't know.
No.
We have no idea.
Okay.
But it was a Bigfoot. I mean, it wasn't no animals doing it.
Yeah. Well, I stayed the night on my property not too long ago. It sounded like somebody was hitting like a stop sign. There's no stop sign out there. It's in the woods. Just bam, 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 bam. It's like, what the heck? It sounds like a rock hitting metal or something metal on metal. But in the middle of the woods.
I tell you what, so in the recording that I put here, I hung it up. I put it right under here. Put it right under this.
Yeah.
See that?
Okay.
No, I didn't put another one up. I stuck it right there, right? So he was there for 2 days. So what would happen is he would let the dogs out. That dog would run back there barking. And the gold one, wherever the gold one was, you could hear the gold one coming up, barking, growling. But you could hear something right here running around.
Really?
Walking right up to it. And then I tried to figure out, I kept hearing something hit something, and it was doing this.
Oh, wow.
Just tapping on that. I don't know if it was trying to knock it off there. When the dog come out, whatever it would, you could hear it running.
Yeah.
Dog go back down.
You did tell me what it sounded like,
Walk
Don.
right back up.
You never did tell me what it sounded like.
What would happen was, when you let the dogs out, well, before you let the dogs out, something was walking right around here. Both nights. And what would happen was, every once in a while I heard a noise. I didn't know what it was.
This was one of the most fascinating Bigfoot interviews I have ever conducted. It took months of being patient and anxiously waiting to finally get the call to come out to the property. I was floored by Dennis's many encounters throughout the years of living in the area. It even shocked me how many different tracks he had in his possession. I've been getting a lot of reports from this area, and it seems like a lot of people are seeing a white or gray-colored Sasquatch roaming around Little Indian Creek. If anyone has had a sighting in this area, please contact me. It is important to share your Bigfoot experiences and encounters with the people.